Here in Uptown Charlotte, we welcome Kevin Stallings to the podium, representing the Pitt Panthers. He's with us for the next few minutes. Coach, we've got microphones on both sides of the room, so we'll open the floor up immediately for questions. And Coach has been per normal. We'll go to our left, first row.
Dan Tortora, Wake Up Call, DT.com. Coach, your takeaways from the first season with the team, and then second question would be dealing with the newness on the team of the transfers going out and the freshmen coming in.
Well, the takeaways from the first season was that this league is everything that I expected it to be and more. I've lived a pretty privileged life, it feels like, in terms of the places that I've worked at, and I've been in the Big Ten, and I was with Roy in what was in the Big 8, now the Big 12, and of course a long time in the SEC. The ACC is undoubtedly the most difficult league, most challenging league that I've ever seen from a college basketball perspective, and so that would be one takeaway. Certainly, going into our second year, it feels like year number one all over again because we have so many new players, but interestingly enough, that's the way it's been in my other two previous head coaching jobs. I had big senior classes at both spots, and then there was turnover, and so you felt like you were going through season number one, like I said, for a second time. I'm encouraged about this group that we have. They're hardworking, hard-playing, coachable guys, and we'll be short on experience. I don't think that we'll be short on effort and tenacity and the things that you want to see in your team when they play. So we understood when we took the job. I understood when I took the job that year two was going to be kind of a hard year in the respect that I knew that there would be a lot of turnover. I knew that we would have to replace a lot. Didn't know that we'd have to replace as much as we did, but I knew that we would have to replace a lot. And so as I told someone last season, what was keeping me up was this season. And but we're almost there, and I am excited about my team. Again, I don't know what that will mean in terms of wins and losses, but I really like their approach, and I like how they think and how they play.
Staying on the left side, fourth row.
Coach Ryan Leonard, ACC.com. What do you ask for from senior leaders in Ryan Luther and Jonathan Milligan in terms of mentoring the younger kids coming in who haven't experienced the college basketball game?
Well, I haven't had to ask too much because Milligan and Ryan are both guys that they do the right things off the court. They do the right things socially. Ryan Luther is an exemplary of a student athlete as you could possibly find and possibly coach. He's an excellent student. Again, he's a great person. He does the right things all the time. And so he's really the only guy on our team with extensive ACC experience. And so he's going to have to lead really in every way, not only through his play, but through his words and being vocal with his teammates on what, and he's done that already. He's already embraced that and done a terrific job with it, as has Millie. So they're giving us what they can give us. I don't really need any more from them than we're getting right now, but they know that their jobs is A, to do what they're supposed to do, but B, communicate to the guys in the program that haven't been here before what the expectations are, what we want, what we need, and what the culture is, and how we're going to operate in it.
Coach, from the podium here, a lot of coaches will look from year to year and say, well, statistically, we need to do this better or this better. Since this is such a brand new year, are there any stats right now that are resonating that you need to work on?
No, there's nothing from last year that that will carry over to this year in terms of we need to be this or we need to be that we weren't last year. What we need to be is a team that plays together, that defends like our lives depend on it, and rebounds the ball with as much tenacity and physicality as we can. Because I don't think at times we'll be the biggest team that I've ever had, and so we're already anticipating what it's going to be like for us and the kind of effort that we're going to have to play with both defensively and on the backboard. So that's our job right now is to get our teams to defend and rebound to the way that we're going to need to in order to be able to be competitive in this league.
I know it's one game at a time, but with all that said, do you look at the totality of the schedule and think about what you want the season to be?
Not really. I'm kind of reminded in a little bit of a humorous way of something that I heard Lou Holtz say one time. He said, I'm sleeping like a baby. I'm waking up every 2 hours and crying. You know, we're so young, and there will be so many lessons that have to be learned. But that's just part of the process. It's part of the process of building a team, building a program, and I knew when I took it over that after the first year it was gonna require a tremendous amount of effort and work and time, and that's what we're devoting to it. We're trying to build the program that we want to have, and we know that we're in the very, very, very first stages of that. So I don't know how long it's going to take. I'm not the most patient guy in the world, but I would have liked for it to been done yesterday. But hopefully that tomorrow, when we're kind of to that point that we want to be, is closer than it feels.
Coach, we'll go fourth row to our left.
Coach, you say you're in the beginning stage building that foundation with this new team. What are you most confident about going in with this young team?
Ironically, the thing that I'm most confident in is how hard they're going to play, and sometimes that's one of the last things that a young group really gets their minds wrapped around and something that they figure out. But I've recruited for a long, long time, and you can think that you recruit this, and then all of a sudden you find out that you've recruited that. We had signed so many guys, I wasn't sure what we had recruited, but the thing that I've learned thus far is these guys are going to play really hard. And now again, we might injure people in the first row with some of the passes that we throw. We might hurt each other in practice because they play very physically, but they play really, really hard and they really care. So the comfort that I take every night when I go home, despite, like 2 days ago, practice was awesome. We were executing and it looked really good. Yesterday, not so much. And so I go home with two completely different feelings after those two practices. But the one thing or the two things that I take with me is they do play hard and they do care, and they are coachable. So if I can continue to say that all season long, then we'll get as close to where we can be as our potential allows for.
Coach, you said last year was everything and more about the ACC. Last year was your 24th year as a head coach. You're always learning stuff about your student athletes. Last year, what did you learn about you?
That's a really good question. I think what I learned about me is something that I've known, but something that was nice to sort of relearn, if you will, and that is that I enjoy the competition. I'm addicted to almost addicted to the competition, and that striving to be the best that I can be. And I've said this a few times today, but you know, you're always taught and you're told as an athlete or whatever that to be the best, you want to compete against the best and that sort of thing. Well, that's sort of how I look at this job for me is I'm competing against some of the best basketball coaches that college basketball has ever known. And I'm excited to try to put a program together and put a program in place to see how our program can do against, again, some of the greatest that the sport's ever known.